Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer. Welcome back to European Truck Simulator 1.31. So this is going to be our first real job, I guess. We took the one job just to get the game started, and then I canceled out of it. I brought some mods in, specifically a lot of mod trailers, and I also brought in our configuration for graphics and everything. In fact, I'm going to go take a look at that right now and just confirm that everything came in okay. And yeah, it looks like it all did. And we'll get rid of a couple of things here. We will, yep, we'll do that. And we'll do that. Okay, and that is the way SweetFX likes it. Because it's so sweet. Let's take a job. Let's get some work done. And I think whatever job we take will probably be enough to get us promoted. Let me see. We want to do the ones that pay the most. Let's see what pays the most. 5 grand tomatoes from Reims to Luxembourg in the new Mercedes. What do you say? It's going to be one of these two jobs that pay the most, and I'm not crazy about the Renault. Let's head out of Reims with the tomatoes. Here we go. Loving this too, the load speed compared to Pro Mods, and I mean that's a trade-off. That is totally a trade-off, and I'm not complaining. But I will say that I do like the speed. Right? Let's take a look. Oh, fantastic! And did we get? Well, we got one of our custom trailers, and it says, are you looking in there? Because it says that it's for 1.31. This is the This is the VAK slider. I take it back. I take it back. Of all of them, this is the one that does not say that it's ready. All this stuff by Cast, K-A-S-T, all of his stuff is converted over to 1.31. But this VAK slider, apparently, clearly is not. Lift axles up. Here we go. 228 kilometers. That won't take long. Now we're in town, and we're still knocking on 50 FPS. And I know it sounds like I'm like harping on that, like I keep going back to FPS, but I can't think of another part of the game that has such an impact on gameplay. And I guess graphics settings, like it's just a given. Like you set your graphics settings to give you the best frame rate that your card is going to be able to give you, right? And then that's done. The quality of the graphics doesn't change, so you don't need to think about it. You don't need to trip out about it because it's always going to be the same. But oh, sweet, you've got mail. But the frame rate does change, and I think that's why, right? Like you don't need to monitor your graphics settings. You set them, and they're done. They don't change, but your frame rate does change. You know, and I guess that's why I tend to trip out about it a little bit more. And also, I think it's more subject to things like background processes and updates and driver updates and that sort of thing, more so than if Windows is downloading an update, which it was doing recently, and I think, well, I don't even want to get into it, but using that as an example, if there's a background process happening or if there's an update downloading, it's not going to change your graphics. It's just going to slow the game down, right? So I think that's why that's a little bit more of a kind of a, I don't know. That was tricky because I needed to go out left so I didn't hook the trailer, but not too far left and go into traffic. Right. And there is one more thing I just realized I need to change over. We were running the face tracking for a while, and then we weren't. But I didn't swap the camera controls back to the assisted steering or the steering assist, where the camera, the in-cab camera, moves a little bit when you steer. I turned it back on in ATS. I haven't turned it back on in ETS yet. Next time we stop, I will remember to do that. I can see a helicopter already. And that's going to be the random road incidents. So excited about that. I'm a little not disappointed. That's not the right word. Same thing we went through in ATS with the air hoses. You know, I want to see them. Like that was one of the biggest selling points for 1.31. I want to see those air hoses. So we'll see them. We'll see them soon enough. Everything works out. So we'll get where we're going, and we will check our mail. And I think that's the one saying that because they come in a certain order. There's one that says you now qualify for a small loan, and then there's another one that comes in that says this company wants you to work for them and they'll pay you more than other companies. And then there's a third one that comes in that says you now qualify for like the big loan. I can now, it's quick enough to skin these trucks and trailers back to our company, but we don't necessarily need to right away because we're not going to own our own truck. And you know, I don't get like too heavily into the role play. You know, I don't get too heavily into the role play, but we don't own a garage. We don't own a truck yet. We're not a trucking company yet. We're just some guy, just some random guy. So there's no need for us to worry about picking up skid trailers because we don't own a company yet. But I can drop those in. I saved I have a folder with all my skins in them and various other things. So it's quick enough to drop the appropriate files into those trailer folders and get everything set up when the time is right. But we don't need to worry about it for now. So if you're wondering where are our skin trucks and trailers, we ain't a company yet. We're just some guy. So now I have seen we're down about 10 FPS from where we were. And I think some of that could be settings because I didn't change any graphics settings when I started the game. We were running SweetFX from the jump, but we weren't our settings weren't as high as they are now. So I'm guessing I could go back in and just go to the default settings, and that may get us back a few FPS. But this works for me. We're at about 50 right now, 50 to 55. That works for me. I feel like yep, I believe that was a Lamborghini police car. So for me, 35 to 45 is, I'm okay with that. I mean, obviously 60 is where I want to be. 60 is where everybody wants to be. But 35 to 45 is fine. I feel like when we go below 35, then we're close enough that we could spike down to 30. And I feel like 30 or below is when, like, that really begins to affect the quality of what I think of as the gameplay. Like, that really, not the same. Not quite the same. So that's what's going on there. Oh. Road incidents. No, this isn't a road incident. This looks like, well, now I don't know. I was thinking this looks like static construction, but the whole point is in 131, these things move around. I don't know if this one moves around, though. That looks pretty permanent. I don't know. We'll see. What's his name again? What was I talking about? I was just saying something a second ago. I don't remember. Not important. Yeah. Oh man, I'm so stoked. And it's funny because every time I do this, I talk myself out of it. I talk to myself like, well, I mean, I don't talk to myself like an insane person. I just talk to myself like, like I'm thinking out loud, and I'm thinking to myself, oh man, it's going to take like weeks, and it's going to be just this total mod hunt, and there's going to be conflicts, and it's going to be a catastrophe, and you're going to hate it, and it's going to be awful. And I talked myself out of it. I don't know how else to say it. And it took probably 3 hours end to end. But some of that was not restarting the game, but you kind of have to go back and forth. So you put a few mods in, then you start the game up, and you go back and put a few mods in, then you start the game up. Right? So we did that. I did that a bunch of times, and that contributed to the time factor or whatever. But no, it wasn't bad at all. Wow, it's been a while since I've driven a base game truck. This thing has no torque. Holy smokes. That's how bad it is. I guess we're towing a pretty big trailer too. Now I don't know if we got more money because this thing is so big. In fact, when we get up here a little ways, let's jump third person and take a look at this big ass trailer they got us hauling with a little 4x2. Look at it. It's a good looking trailer. It's the wrong one. Oh, and we got our xenon lights too. I got xenon lights for all the base game trucks, and then I'm probably only going to bring in 3 trucks. I'm going to bring in the RJL, of course. I'll bring in the 50K to DAF. Actually, I already have, because the 50K to DAF, as far as I know, just sits on top of the base game DAF, so that's already in. And then I'll need to bring in my little D3DS Mercedes, and we'll get that going. And what's our other truck? The XBS. Somebody took over for XBS. He was a modder that quit. Like, I saw it with my own 2 eyes on a thread. He deleted all his comments, and he was like, I'm out of here. I'm done with you people. But he's back now. The Madster MAN. So the XBS MAN, the Madster MAN, the DAF, the Scania. Is there another truck that I'm forgetting about? In our profile, we had 2 Scania, the MAN, the DAF, and the Mercedes. Yeah, okay. And I also got the Mr. Capital Mercedes, the MP4. Yeah, the MP4. And I think I may go Mercedes this time. I'm a big Scania fan, but I think Mercedes may be our truck of choice for a while. Why does this have us doubling back on ourselves here? Did I miss a turn? No. Moment. I did. I just missed a turn right there. I just missed it. Oh, son of a... Well, you know what? That's cool. It just means I get to hang out with all you nice people. And it's going to add a few minutes, but not a ton of time. Let us set the cruise control. And we'll get this knocked out. So, yeah, well, the thing that got me thinking about Mercedes is in F1 2017, I had to pick a team. Well, I didn't have to pick a team. You could just go single races. You can do whatever you want. But I went Mercedes, and I'm a little bummed. I was a big McLaren fan. Well, I've been a big McLaren fan since I was about 7 years old. But only because Mercedes was not in F1 for the longest time. And then when they got back into racing, when they started to get back into racing, factory racing, I was so stoked because McLaren went with Mercedes. Mercedes power for their F1 team, and I was so stoked about that. How awesome! But then they went to is it Renault? I'm totally spacing out. Who's in McLaren this year? It's Renault, isn't it? Yeah. And Mercedes has their own team. Oh man, I almost need to stop and look this up. I'm tripping out so bad right now. Yeah, it's the McLaren. Yes. Yeah, I think. Well, I'm not going to look it up, but it's bugging the hell out of me. Anyway, so when I had to pick, I realized that I guess I was into McLaren because Mercedes wasn't. There was no. There was no factory team. But now that there is, that I guess that's my preference. So because that's on my mind, right? Am I making sense right now? I worry sometimes that I'm not even making sense because Mercedes was on my mind. When it came time to pick a truck for ETS. Don't. If you would have waited, if you just would have waited. Anyway. That sucks early on when you don't have a lot of money to begin with. But this job pays what, $5 grand? Yeah, we'll do okay. Anyway, I guess because Mercedes was on my mind for F1, I just kind of defaulted to Mercedes as well. And we've spent a lot of time in Scania. We spent a lot of time in the 4 Series. We spent a lot of time in the DAF. It's time to switch it up a little bit. You will likely not see me in the Renault very often. I don't hate it the way some people hate it. I don't hate either one of them the way some people hate it. Either there's the Magnum and what's the other one? The Premier? The Premium? I don't hate them the way some people hate them. Some people really hate them. I don't hate them. It's just not my favorite. The Iveco, I don't know. I'm sort of neutral about it. Same with the Volvo. I don't love it. I don't hate it. But I think Scania, or for me anyway, I know it's different for everybody, but for me, Scania and the Mercedes, the MP4, less the MP3. I do like the MP4, and I like that Antos. Antos. I like it. And I'm trying to think, what are the other trucks in here? DAF, I like. MAN, I like. So I guess it comes down to more than the trucks that I don't like. I don't really like the Renault. I don't really like the. There's one Iveco I don't really like. And I guess the Volvo, which is a shame because it's a nice truck. It's a lovely truck, but I'm just not into it. And what else? Is that all of them? Try to do them in order. DAF, MAN, Mercedes. I feel like I'm missing some. Well, either way. Cool. So we'll get this dropped off. I'm curious what the delivery looks like. It has to be a pull-through. It has to be a pull-through with the multiple articulated points on the trailer. And yeah, no torque in this truck. To be expected. It's your boss doesn't give you the nice truck. They give you the knackered truck. Right. Well, this will be nice to see this part of the map again. And we were talking about coming up Italy and heading west and coming back to this part of the map anyway. So it all worked out. Everything works out. And this will give us enough time to get all of our mods sorted out, and then all we'll need to do when the time comes is just drop in pro mods, and we'll be good to go. I've found you can go from vanilla DLC profile to pro mods profile, no problem, but you can't go the other way. You can't uninstall pro mods. It just, everything goes to pieces. But you can install pro mods. I take that back. You can. It's not guaranteed to work, but I've seen it work enough times that I'm comfortable saying it works. I've also seen it fail, but for the most part, it just goes right through and everything is totally cool. So we'll see. But for now, we got 1.31 going. We had air hoses on that first trip we took up. Our first, like that first trip they make you take. Straight through, no problems. With the air hoses and everything else, so they're working. Well, obviously they're working. The patch is official as of Monday, so of course they're working. But somehow I managed to draw the one trailer, and I didn't even pick this trailer. It just assigned it to us. But somehow I managed to draw the one trailer. Literally the only trailer in the game, because the base game trailers all do, and then all the other mod trailers that I brought in, I know for a fact all have air hoses. What luck. What luck. And I even put it down in the mod order fairly far. This VAK that we have right now. VAK? VAC? You say VAK? You say VAC. Try not to scrape this thing too bad. Try not to speed too bad. And I believe our lift axle is up. Wow. No torque. Perfect. We can check at this red light. And also, since we're in town, let me set the brake. And let's go ahead and turn this steering back on. It's under gameplay. Where is it? Steering camera rotation. Yep. So that's good. And then, was there something else we were going to check? Oh, we're going to look at the truck from outside. Steering axle is up. Not steering axle. Lift axle. Though I think this VAK does have a steering axle on the dolly, which is the kookiest thing to see. But if I was comfortable going external right now, I would totally take a peek at it, because I know it's just contouring right around that little traffic circle. Fantastic. Right, welcome to Luxembourg. Holding pretty good frame rate in town. It's dropped considerably, as it does, but we're holding right around 40. I'll take it. Come on. Right. So I can't blame all my scenery loading on pro mods, because we ain't running it. That's just base game and my RAM. Right, looks like are we straight ahead? I think we're, yep, I think I know this drop off. We're gonna pull straight in and then just go to the right. Or are we, or is it gonna ask? Are we still at a point in our career where it's asking us? I'm not seeing a green arrow up there. I'm not even seeing how to get in there. Ah, it's this way. Sorry, good citizens. I gotta be kind of an a-hole. Let's try to not pull out in 8. Let's get down to a more reasonable gear. Right. There's our space. Okay, cool. So, make the big U-turn. Maybe not quite that big. Alright, so we cleared that. And now we'll get it in here. Try to. And we should level up too. Hope so. Right. Neutral. Brakes. Let's see how we did. $5,000. 350, and we did level up. So let's get a point. Was there anything? Were we going to check something? I don't even remember. Right. Let's start with high value cargo. No, let's start with the additional dialogue, and we'll haul some interesting stuff. Folks, email, that's the other thing we were going to check. First one says, need money, we can help. Second thing says, trucks for sale. So let's clear these. Fantastic. Folks, thanks so much for stopping back to check out The Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of European Truck Simulator 1.31, and we will see you next time. Take care now.